All right, listen, everyone. I know this is not the most comfortable thing in the world to wear, and I know it's silly looking. But for God's sakes, get over yourselves and wear your mask, please. Hey everyone, this is Kevin the Apptrepreneur, and welcome to my channel. You picked a very interesting video to come to because this is not normally what we would talk about, at least not in a formal video. We have talked about the pandemic and masks and freedom to or to not wear the masks on my live streams, most of which are now going to be private and for members only after they initially air. So if you want to see what's in all of those, YouTube membership. But anyway, here's the thing. The masks situation, as I'm calling it, has become a very touchy one. I didn't think this was going to be the big deal because here's the thing. We are in the middle of a pandemic to the point where the whole world is shut down. It's not just a case of the U.S. government wanting to control people like some people want to think. It's everybody shutting down because guess what? People are getting sick and they are dying. Now, this has been going on long enough that some countries have actually been reopening up and ending their lockdowns. And their cases have gone down. And in most of those countries, there's some reoccurring things. And one of the main reoccurring elements on why the cases are going down is wearing masks. Because it's a great way to slow down the spread of germs. And heck, even if some germs escape, it's going to be far fewer. So when people catch it, they might not get a serious case. It actually contributes to the herd mentality. We know this now. And you know what? Hey, once this information started coming out, this was like great news for everyone. It's like, wait, you mean we can actually start to reopen things so long as we continue to wash our hands, wear masks, and stay a few feet apart from one another? We can go back to living our lives. We can go back to work. That sounded like a great thing. This is a good compromise. Look, we're all tired of being locked indoors. We're all tired of not going to work. We're tired of being scared of the future. So, hey, until a vaccination comes around, what a great compromise. Wear some masks, wash your hands, stay some feet apart from one another, and we can go back to living. It's great. And you know what? A lot of companies are even starting to enforce this rule, and that's when I have to roll my eyes when you see what's going on, because Costco was trending on Twitter. And here's a rule of thumb. You never want to be trending on Twitter. Never, ever, ever do you want to be trending on Twitter. Trending on Twitter means basically everybody hates you. And this is what they hated Costco for. Because people want to boycott Costco because Costco is making it a store policy that both employees and customers wear masks. I kid you not, this is apparently what it's come to. So, as businesses across the country continue to implement new practices to help stem the spread of the C virus, face masks have become the norm in public places, with several stores recently implementing mandatory mask-wearing policies. But not everyone is willing to follow the recommended protocols. Last week, Costco announced it would be requiring all shoppers to wear a mask or face covering, quote, that covers the mouth and nose at all times, while in stores nationwide, those under the age of 2 are exempt from the policy, which is interesting because I think a 2-year-old immunity system is just as compromised as a 90-year-old, or if you have Crohn's disease or something like that. The retailer's decision is in line with current guidelines from the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, which has been advising people to wear some type of facial covering in public settings where other social distancing measures are difficult to maintain, like grocery stores and pharmacies, especially in areas of significant community-based transmission. The CDC says that even simple face coverings are better than nothing in order to, quote, slow the spread and limit the transmission of the C virus, even among those who don't know they might be infected. Because keep in mind, we don't know who's been infected. We actually have friends who might have been infected by this thing. We have some friends who got a very, the whole family got this nasty flu a few weeks ago, and they described that it was Unlike any flu they had ever had before, they had extreme migraines and they had these terrible coughs that were horrendous, and they all got better, but they wonder, like, did we get this thing and we didn't know it? So some people don't even know. Despite this recommendation, which has been issued for people in all 50 states, Costco faced immediate backlash from a sizable number of people who declared they would no longer shop at the big box retailer if forced to cover their faces. Well, my personal opinion is, well, great. I mean, if you're not going to wear your mask, we probably don't want you there anyway, but whatever. So, like, here's one guy. Costco, you have hit a new low. You're an American corporation with an obligation to support our American values. Dictating face masks for your workers is one thing, but forcing this on your local members who paid for membership is a complete abuse of power. No, it's not. And I will explain why in a moment. Here's another one. Seriously considering canceling my Costco membership over the face mask requirement to shop in their stores? No thanks. Well, there's a lot of places that are going to require you to wear a face mask. Whole Foods is also one of them. Leslie said, I'm being told by friends that masks are required at Costco and everyone. Guess I made my last trip there last week. Please let me know when the face mask brigade is over. Well, you'll be waiting like a year, and it's not just Costco. Now, here's one of the reasons I'm bringing this up, because in a strange way, this kind of ties into what's going on with Uber and Lyft and the gig economies right now. Because I did like a story a few days ago that Uber was actually requiring drivers and passengers to wear a face mask. That, hey, if the driver sees that you're not wearing a face mask, he can drive away. He doesn't have to pick you up. There's not even a question. And if the passenger sees that the driver is not wearing a face mask, they can report them to Uber. And Uber will be creating technologies to ensure that drivers are, wearing the masks. I have mixed feelings about that one, though. And that's a very sensible policy, because here's the thing. This thing spreads, it kills, and even if it doesn't kill, it does long-term damage to your lungs, which is what people don't understand. Like, oh, the flu kills more people. Well, no, actually, this thing has killed more people than the flu did last year at the moment, currently, and will definitely get higher. But also the long-term damage it does to your body, like, and the fact that it's so nasty, it could even come back even though you caught it. Like, this is an ugly, ugly virus. But here's what people are not understanding. These are companies, okay? And you want to say freedom of speech, freedom of whatever, freedom of government. Here's the thing. They're companies, they're not the government. If the company has a policy that says you have to wear a mask, get over yourself, wear the damn mask. And it gets even worse. Like, look at this. There was a shootout at a McDonald's recently because of the closed dining area. Like, just look at this. 3 McDonald's employees in Oklahoma City suffered gunshot wounds when a customer opened fire because she was angry that the restaurant's dining area was closed because of the C virus pandemic. There was another situation with McDonald's, by the way, where a guy walked into the McDonald's without a mask. They told him to leave because, it's policy now. We actually have a sign, you have to wear a mask. He leaves the store and then throws a rock at their window. Because he doesn't want to follow a simple guideline that the store has imposed. Folks, here's how businesses work. Businesses and platforms, by the way, because we're including Uber into this, if they say this is what you have to do or we will not do business with you, you have to do it. For years, we have seen stores with signs that say no shoes, no shirt, no business. So if you walk in without shoes and you walk in without a shirt, they're going to say, get out of here. And you have to leave. That's their right to do that. It's the same thing with the masks. You might think it's silly, but hey, for whatever reason, they feel this is the best thing to do, so they are going to enforce you to do it. Here's another thing. When it comes to like Uber and gig economies, when the gig economy companies say, hey, you have to wear a mask or you'll be deactivating, they're saying like, hey, I'm an independent contractor. I should be, nope, stop right there. See, this is why you're not an independent contractor. This is why you're not an independent contractor, because no, you can't do jack. You have to, you know what happens when Uber says, hey, you have to agree to everything Uber and Lyft says. If they say jump, you say how high. If they say we want to enter you, you lean over, you put your caboose in the air, and you say how deep do you want to go. That is how it works. You don't have any control over what you do. You don't have control about your rate. You don't have control whether you get insurance. You don't have control over whether or not feedback gets removed that you don't agree with. The only thing you can agree to is getting on and off. So when Uber says you wear a mask, guess what? You're going to wear a mask, or you're going to be deactivated from the platform. And that's just how this works. Now, again, this is not necessarily a commentary on whether or not you should or shouldn't wear a mask. I believe you should. I strongly believe you should. It's, if you decide you don't want to do that, you know what? I don't think it's wise, but I will defend your right to not wear it. But keep in mind, these are private businesses. These are private entities. If they want to require you to wear a mask and you say, I don't want to wear a mask and therefore you get kicked out, hey, I guess it's your prerogative. You can choose not to shop anywhere that that requires you to wear a mask. That's not going to be a lot of places you can shop at, I'll tell you right now. But here's the thing. A lot of companies, hey, they have curbside pickup, like grocery stores and stuff like that. Curbside pickup. Don't want to follow by the mask rule? Okay, get a curbside pickup. Get the thing delivered by shipped or something like that. I'm going to end with this editorial from Blake Morgan. It's kind of like really an open letter to people who don't like to wear masks. But I think it's a good one to end on, just to kind of remind people why we're doing this. Some customers are mad that Costco is enforcing a mandatory customers mask rule, and some customers are calling for a boycott. But before you send that hashtag boycott Costco tweet, let's remember that these are not normal times. We have all been incredibly inconvenienced by the C virus. Many of us are frustrated, bitter, exhausted, broke, and depressed, but for others it can be much worse. There have been almost 4 million cases worldwide of the C virus, 1.3 million in the US alone, and 270,000 deaths worldwide. Wearing a mask for a shopping trip is much better than the alternative. Perhaps people have simply become too accustomed to life on their own terms. With modern medicine, we've been lucky. There hasn't been a pandemic of this magnitude in over 100 years since the Spanish flu of 1918. And by the way, the Spanish flu started to go away, people started mingling again, and then a second wave came and wiped out millions of people. Right now, life is inconvenient, and it needs to be in order for us to return to normal. Boundaries are uncomfortable, but it's better than getting sick. Many of us are impatient for normalcy when we had the simple luxuries of taking our kids to school, going to the gym, or if you live in other countries out of the US, just leaving your apartment for 7 weeks. Life has been much harder in places like the Philippines or Spain. Yeah, by the way, you can still go and take a walk outside. Those people can't. I live in the US, and I too am frustrated by this inconvenience. I'm 38 weeks pregnant, this is almost 10 months, with a 3-year-old at home and a business to run. But I'm grateful businesses are not succumbing to customers that are ready for life to simply go back to normal before this pandemic disappears. I don't want to be exposed simply because a few others were annoyed they had to wear a mask. The CDC recommends wearing masks. Costco has to protect its employees and its customers, even from themselves. Being almost 10 months pregnant, I can tell you I do not like wearing a mask. It can feel hard to breathe at times. Oh, try making a video with this thing on. I was going to wear my other mask, but the last time I made a full video with that, that was difficult. But I prefer that to contracting the C virus because someone sneezed on me or I accidentally touched my face. Rules are inconvenient, but perhaps people who aren't on the front lines of this C virus outbreak don't understand the magnitude of it. I am grateful to corporations that take a stand on what's best for the health of society over a few people who don't want to be inconvenienced. By the way, this is also a great example of companies putting health over profits, which is what we've been asking them to do for years, and now when they do it, guess what? We're complaining about them. Today, companies are deciding for themselves what the best future plan of action is. To support customers, employees, and open their business in a safe and thoughtful manner, even though it's inconvenient. Costco has been supporting customers who for the last few months have been acting strange at times, even customers hoarding toilet paper and then trying to return it. According to Today.com, despite the numerous objections on social media, many Costco stores appear to be doing just fine since the new rule went into effect. And in fact, it's kind of unofficially in effect for a month now. Costco is also continuing to enforce social distancing efforts. We all want this to be over, but it's going to take a collective effort rather than rogue rules for individual customers and citizens that are simply over the convenience of life during a pandemic. This too shall pass, but unless we incur some uncomfortability in the short term. Yeah, this will all pass. Eventually none of us will have to wear the mask. I don't think anyone really wants to wear the masks. It's just most people understand it's a common sense thing to do. I'm going to end on one more little analogy, if you will, because I've heard this from a lot of people. Not just if you think that I'm targeting you, About 5 people have said this, where they said it should be optional, it shouldn't be mandatory. No, because here's the thing. First of all, again, businesses, they can choose whatever rules they want. There are actually restaurants that require a jacket and a hat, and if you walk in without a jacket and a hat, you are turned away for service. It frivolous? Yeah, maybe. It's called a dress code. This is essentially a dress code. The mask. It's a dress code. You got to wear a mask. Here's the other thing, though. Some people are saying like, oh, well, look, I should have the right to live how I want. And it's like, yeah, I agree. But here's the thing. This thing doesn't just affect you. Because if you become a carrier, you're infecting other people around who might not want to get sick. I consider that the same to driving drunk. Yes, you are allowed to drink and get drunk. That is not illegal. It's immoral, I think, but it's not illegal. However, it is illegal to get behind the wheel of a vehicle and drive while you're intoxicated. Why? Because at this point, you are not only affecting yourself, you are putting other people's lives needlessly at risk for your own selfish purposes because you don't want to be inconvenienced by taking an Uber or a taxi home. So, that's what I see as virus. Yeah, you're totally free. If it was just affecting you, like, hey, if you got it and you didn't easily spread it, I'd say, yeah, this is an overreaction. But since it is easily spreadable, and since people have been known to die, including young people, by the way, and if they don't die, they tend to have some long-term side effects, then I believe, personally, it is irresponsible to do that. But hey, you could do the middle ground thing. You could just wear a mask. You can go out and do your stuff and wear a mask, and heck, you don't even have to wear it the whole time. When you're in your personal car with the windows rolled up, the mask can be off, but before you get out of the car, put the mask on, go into the store for 15 minutes, come back out, put the stuff in the car, get back in the car, take the mask off, go home. It's not that big of a deal. Hey, look at me right now. See how long it takes me to actually take this off? It takes no time at all. But anyway, this one's definitely going to create a little bit of a storm, don't you think? So I'd like to know what all of you think about this. Do you agree? Do you disagree? I'd love to know. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.